Welcome to A Kind and Gentle Word. I'm Jordan, and tonight we are reading Chapter 8 in the book of Esther. We are in the second half of our story of the book of Esther. So if you're new here, I invite you to look into the description of this video, click on Chapter 1, and start at the beginning. But if you're ready for Chapter 8, let's get on into it. Esther Chapter 8. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came into the presence of the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. The king took off his signet ring, which he had reclaimed from Haman, and presented it to Mordecai. And Esther appointed him over Haman's estate. Esther again pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping. She begged him to put an end to the evil plan of Haman the Agagite, which he had devised against the Jews. Then the king extended the gold scepter to Esther, and she arose and stood before him. "If it pleases the king," she said, "and if he regards me with favor, and thinks it the right thing to do, and if he is pleased with me, let an order be written overruling the dispatches that Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, devised and wrote to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces. For how can I bear to see disaster fall on my people? How can I bear to see the destruction of my family?" King Xerxes replied to Queen Esther and to Mordecai the Jew, "Because Haman attacked the Jews, I have given his estate to Esther, and they have impaled him on the pole he set up. Now write another decree in the king's name, in behalf of the Jews, as seems best to you, and seal it with the king's signet ring, for no document written in the king's name and sealed with his ring can be revoked." At once the royal secretaries were summoned. On the 23rd day of the third month, the month of Sivan, they wrote out all Mordecai's orders to the Jews, and to the satraps, governors, and nobles of the 127 provinces, stretching from India to Cush. These orders were written in the script of each province and the language of each people, and also to the Jews in their own script and language. Mordecai wrote in the name of King Xerxes, sealed the dispatches with the king's signet ring, and sent them by mounted couriers who rode fast horses, especially bred for the king. The king's edict granted the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate the armed men of any nationality or province who might attack them and their women and children, and to plunder the property of their enemies. The day appointed for the Jews to do this in all the provinces of King Xerxes was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. A copy of the text of the edict was to be issued as law in every province and made known to the people of every nationality, so that the Jews would be ready on that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers riding the royal horses went out, spurred on by the king's command, and the edict was issued in the citadel of Susa. When Mordecai left the king's presence, he was wearing royal garments of blue and white, a large crown of gold and purple robe of fine linen. And the city of Susa held a joyous celebration. For the Jews, it was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. In every province and in every city to which the edict of the king came, there was joy and gladness among the Jews, with feasting and celebrating. And many people of other nationalities became Jews because fear of the Jews had seized them. When we look at chapter 8, we see the switch of King Xerxes finally beginning to understand that it wasn't just Haman who was against his wife and queen, but against all the people that were underneath the queen. He was not aware that Esther was a Jew, but when he became aware, he said, "Your people are my people." Now, it doesn't say that in the script, but he is clearly protecting her people as if they are his own. What I also really love is that we see that so many people see the joy and the happiness of the Jews and the honor that they have for their God and want to be a part of that. Now, it does say people became to fear the Jews who seized them, but we also see that people saw the difference in them, that they were happy and joyous people. So it's my hope that we now, filled with the Holy Spirit as God's people, that others around us would see the difference in who we are and how we react to everything around us and how we live our lives, and want to be a part of that. So it's my hope that you will pray that God will pour his light out of you in such a way that people will have to stop and ask, what is different about you? How can I have that? And then you'll get to share Jesus Christ with them. It's exciting. It might be a little bit intimidating, but just know that that's God's plan, for us to know him and to make him known among all the nations, all the people, and all the world. So as you fall asleep tonight, know that you are in the club. You are a part of God's people, and that joy is deep within you, just waiting to burst forth. Remember to be kind to others and gentle with yourself, for we are all a work in progress. Sweet dreams.